Dr. Ben Carson, he's in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina right now. Dr. Carson, thanks so much for joining me. Moments ago, we learned Chris Christie is dropping out of the race, Carly Fiorina as well. Your reaction?
Well, I like both of them. I'm sorry to see them go, but certainly understand that there are other pressures that might interject themselves into that decision making.
And both of them did better than you in New Hampshire, although right now, when it comes to the delegate count, because of your fourth place finish in Iowa, you're tied with Jeb Bush. Are you getting any pressure from anyone to suspend your campaign, or is it onward?
Not getting any pressure from any of our millions of supporters. I'm getting a lot of pressure to make sure that I stay in the race. They're reminding me that I'm here because I responded to their imploring me to get involved. And I respect that, and I'm not just going to walk away from, the millions of people who are supporting me.
You're in South Carolina right now. Tell us the path forward. What is a state that you can win?
I think I can win South Carolina. We're going to be putting a lot of resources, time and effort in here, and I think we're going to do extraordinarily well. The people here align extremely well with the kind of philosophies that I have, and I think you'll see the evidence of that.
So, with all due respect, the most recent poll numbers out of South Carolina have you in 5th place. How do you get up to 1st? How do you turn that around?
You'll see. As more and more people get an opportunity to hear me, and I'm going to be here extensively, I think you'll see those numbers turn around very rapidly.
You are mentioned in a new TV ad in South Carolina, Donald Trump's ad against Ted Cruz. Donald Trump's ad says Cruz, quote, runs a campaign accused of dirty tricks and tried to sabotage Ben Carson with false rumors, unquote. Do you think that's a fair description of what happened?
Well, I don't know if it was Ted Cruz himself or if it was just his people. He says he really didn't know that they were doing that, so we should probably try to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Has he taken enough responsibility for the behavior of his staffers, do you think?
Well, I don't want to spend time savaging him. I think the evidence is very clear for everyone to see and to make their own decision.
What issues are you going to be talking about in South Carolina to bring the Republican electorate to you?
Well, I just got through doing a little news conference about eminent domain issue here, where the city council is, threatening to take away land for a park. These are established businesses, and it's absolutely an absurd use of eminent domain. And, I stand squarely with those individuals. If the government would just do what it's supposed to do, it wouldn't have time to be messing with people. And, that's one of the things that I have strongly emphasized, the need to let the government do what it was designed to do. There's no need for 645 federal agencies and sub-agencies and 4.1 million federal employees. It's absolutely absurd. And it's not that I'm an anti-government person, but, the government was never supposed to be in every aspect of our lives.
Earlier this month, when you announced that you were reducing some of your campaign staff, there were speculation and reports that your campaign might be running out of money. Today, the Washington Post reports that you spent more money per vote in New Hampshire than any other candidate, more than $2,300 per vote. Right now, do you have enough funds to continue in this race and to wage an effective campaign in South Carolina?
Well, I will say that we didn't spend nearly as much money in New Hampshire as many others. Many others spent millions of dollars there, and we didn't spend anywhere near millions of dollars there, recognizing, that there were certain things that were going to happen there, so you have to, pick your battles very carefully. We're doing just fine, and people continue to support us. We will continue to move forward.
When you start talking about eminent domain and trying to draw a contrast, it would seem, with some of your rivals, is that focused on Donald Trump? Because obviously he is somebody who believes
has
nothing to do with Donald Trump?
It has nothing to do with him. It has to do with an issue here in the Charleston area that is very important to the people here.
All right, Dr. Ben Carson, thank you so much. We'll see you on the campaign trail.
A pleasure, always.